In addition to no DK Metcalf, Watt has been ruled out again for this week's game, again at the Browns. We just brought up the Ravens in that race for the AFC North, Amy. Lamar Jackson's future seems not only uncertain for Week 17, he's listed as doubtful for Saturday night, but this report in the Baltimore Sun suggests the two-time MVP and the Ravens are growing tired, no pun intended, of one another here. And when you look at the quote, the breakdown of an NFL player's body is natural, but Jackson could help himself. He doesn't need to be up late at night playing video games or falling asleep in team meetings. Once the Ravens become critical of Jackson, he becomes more withdrawn. It's a shame because Jackson isn't a mean-spirited person, just an overgrown kid in an adult's body. That is Mike Preston of the Baltimore Sun. Okay, John Harbaugh denies that there's any strain in the relationship. He calls it A+. What's your read on this situation?
Well, look, there's been chitter-chatter. That's a very technical term. I learned it in law school. Chitter-chatter about the Ravens moving on from Lamar, about the Ravens possibly moving on from John Harbaugh, and I will address those with something I frequently say, but it applies in both of these instances. If the Ravens are considering either of these moves, they'd best ask themselves and answer, and do what? Because if you're going to move on to from Lamar, or you're going to move on from John, and your answer to undo and do what is not at least as good as the status quo, then what the heck are you doing? Lamar is a good quarterback. John is a good head coach. If you decide to move on from Lamar, well, what are your options? You can draft a quarterback. We've seen that doesn't always work out well, even for first-round picks. You can sign a free agent, whether a veteran or an undrafted rookie free agent, or you can trade for a quarterback. Well, what collateral are you willing to give up if you're going to make a trade? In other words, there are risks associated with all these options. Do you really believe, if you're the Ravens, that moving on from Lamar can lead you to a better answer? And I'll ask the same thing with respect to John Harbaugh. He's a good head coach. He has made some questionable decisions this year, not putting Derrick Henry in the Week 16 game for the last 12 minutes and 50 seconds. I think that was nuts. Good coaches make bad decisions at times as well. I have a lot of faith in Steve Bisciotti. I think they will think this through well. But it's also possible, if there are issues, if there are fractures, to get the head coach, to get management, to get the players, whether the quarterback or others, in a room and sit down and tell them, figure this out. You're all going to be here. We're all teammates. We're all part of this. Figure this out. And that's what I would do were I were the Ravens. If I were Steve Bisciotti, I'd get everyone in a room and say, the quarterback is staying, the head coach is staying, management is here. You all need to figure it out, because if all of you start pointing at one another and saying, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him, I'm the team owner. I might get rid of all of you.
Amy, we don't need Steve Bisciotti. Just clip what you just did and play it at the Ravens facility for Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, and the rest of that bunch. It's been well documented how John Harbaugh and this franchise has really adapted its offense to fit what Lamar does best. Hitting the reset button could be difficult in Baltimore. The incomparable Amy Trask with us here on CBS Sports HQ.
Chris, may I add one more thing?
Yep.
May I add one more thing? You are absolutely right about John. He does what the best coaches do, which is best position players to be their best. So people need to also keep in mind that Lamar has been hurt this season a number of times. And I will tell you from my experience that players play through pain, which is far greater than most people understand. So that needs to be factored in as well.
All right, Amy Trask with us. Thank you for the great insights. As always, the Ravens need to win out. They need the Steelers to lose out. It starts Saturday night for Baltimore in Green Bay. That's the second half of the NFL doubleheader. Before that, more playoff implications. The Texans at the Chargers, Houston, Baltimore.
Where it looks like the Ravens will be without Lamar Jackson for Saturday's game against the Packers. Jackson is listed as doubtful because of that back injury he suffered against New England. It's been an eventful week there in Baltimore. Baltimore's Sun reported that Jackson has fallen asleep in team meetings. John Harbaugh has, quote, become tired of the two-time NFL MVP. Harbaugh responded to the report saying he's never seen this type of behavior from Lamar Jackson. So, Bart, I know you spent, 7 years there in Baltimore. What do you make of what's happening there with Lamar?
I mean, I don't know. I think maybe they're at the crossroad. I know Lamar Jackson is going to come up on a new contract extension. They have to figure out. I can't see a world after so many years of this organization trying to find a franchise quarterback to have one so talented, a two-time MVP. You figure out a way to make it work. Now, the question is John Harbaugh going to be there? Much like Mike Tomlin, I think it's up to John Harbaugh to decide if he wants to move on or if he wants to stay. I think he's earned that right, one of the winningest coaches in that franchise history. But, I think the biggest failure, they finally got Lamar Jackson weapons, so we can't make that excuse for Lamar. The Ravens and the whole organization has come up short. But I think the biggest disconnect is they've lost their identity. We think about brands and we think about organizations, we think about the Steelers. We know exactly what we think about. Even though Ben Roethlisberger's first ballot Hall of Famer, Terry Bradsshaw's first ballot Hall of Famer, when you think about the Baltimore Ravens, you think about defense. And specifically, you think about pass rush. Whether you want to talk about Peter Bower, you want to go Terrell Suggs, you want to go Elvis Dumervil, they found ways to supplement guys that they couldn't draft. The biggest misstep is the fact that they messed up on Oweh or Jobu. They had to trade him to try and get a safety to bring down Kyle Hamilton to the box because they have failed another position, which is the weak side linebacker that has been an underrated position there. I was once that person. Ed Hartwell, Jamie Sharpe, and all those guys, right? So they missed on the defensive side of the ball. Until they get back to that identity, ain't no good gonna happen to them.
But it's one thing, RC, that's funny, that has that kind of article, an article about your franchise quarterback. And then you see that it's the coach, star quarterback type thing. Give me
Well, the first thing is this, and this is the outside looking in. No person has been more supportive of Lamar Jackson than John Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. And to talk about or to say that there's a rift in that relationship is extremely odd to me. He's been very supportive publicly, and anytime you can hear John Harbaugh on a hot mic, there's no person that has championed Lamar Jackson in the way that he has. And so to say that there's a rift between those two would come as a surprise to me. But this also feels like I can't wait till they start losing article. Right? When you start to hear these things about a quarterback, whether they're true or not, whether he's falling asleep in meetings or he's not doing certain things, this is something that Mike Preston of the Baltimore Sun has held.
We know
right?
him well.
Yeah, he had this, and he couldn't wait for an opportunity where Lamar Jackson wasn't playing at an MVP level or Lamar Jackson wasn't healthy. Because let's think about who this organization has been since he was implemented at the quarterback in his rookie season that took over for Joe Flacco, who had won a Super Bowl. They've always been in contention for a championship, always been in contention for the AFC North, always been MVP talks, conversation. This is the first year they've been in this position, and immediately this sort of article comes out. Where does the information come from? How true is it? And then what's the answer and solution for the Baltimore Ravens? Because they have to have one. This is below the line for this organization. The head coach knows it and the quarterback.
Yeah, the solution is easy. Are you kidding me? He's 29 years old. He is a franchise quarterback. And I know things aren't perfect. I'm sure some of that article is true. So you get everybody in a room and you fix the problem. But Lamar, you are going nowhere. You have a massive cap number next year. We got to work that out, hopefully with an extension. But if for whatever reason John Harbaugh isn't there, and I would strongly suggest that he should be there, but if he's not there for whatever reason, the line would be around the corner of every potential head coach to be like, I want to coach that guy. He would be the reason it would be the most attractive job on the market because he's been so good. Again, he's played for so long. Like when he took over for Joe Flacco, he's only 29. He should have a number of meaningfully productive years. And again, like there's always going to be organizational fatigue. Everyone has it. And I'm sure he's not perfect, but gosh, he's so good. And you build around him and you just try to fix those problems. And again, I can't imagine that John Harbaugh wouldn't be there, but if he wasn't, I'm telling you, like, the line would be around the corner.
The question for me is, though, like, what's the conversations in the locker room, not only about this article, but about where they are as a team? What is Kyle Hamilton saying? What is Roquan Smith saying? You've seen Derrick Henry not produce at the level that we're used to seeing him produce, the fumbling issues. This is organizationally not the team that we know. And when you have one of the best players in all of football, a transcendent talent at the quarterback position, this is unacceptable. So for Lamar Jackson, when I start seeing these articles, when I start hearing these questions, I do something different. My offseason has to be different. I have to show up more in the building. I have to be in better shape. And this is a challenge to Lamar to come back.